So welcome back. I'm Dee Jerett. We give life advice around here. We're a solutions-oriented channel, and I am your favorite YouTuber's favorite YouTuber. See, the main goal of my channel is I want to help y'all out, right? But the way YouTube set up, they only push me out if I'm just reacting to some debauchery. So that's why I got to throw in some reaction videos. So now y'all understand why. But for those that watch my live stream, I drop gems on y'all. I make sure that, I'm going to give y'all tips just to say thank you for, for checking me out, right? Because I definitely appreciate it, man. I really do. I was talking to my wife and, we were talking about marry before you carry. I know it's taboo now. Like, we all know these things, but I just want to drop some numbers on you, right? Because in our community, we have a cycle of what they call generational curse. And these generational curses, they will set you back, especially if you don't even know that you're in one, right? And I honestly feel like unwedded childbirth is leading and opening the door to a new generational curse. Then we've all heard the statistics on what happens when a child is not in a two-parent household. We've all heard or seen the statistics of how kids fare like that, right? But I want to drop another side to it, right? The other side I want to drop is, a lot of women tend to get with a dude that they really like, and they'll if they feel that the relationship isn't going to progress further, they'll have a kid to try to keep that man around. And the truth of the matter is, if you do that, the likelihood of the man staying is real low, right? So I did some research, and the numbers are staggering, right? So we all know that roughly 50% of Americans, they get divorced out of a marriage, right? But I want you to keep that number in mind. If you have a child with someone that you're living with, right? Y'all in a relationship, y'all been kicking it for a while. Did you know the probability of y'all getting married, if you have a kid before you're married, the probability that y'all will get married is only 20 to 30%. I'm going to repeat that again. Don't get married and you have a kid with the significant person that you're living with or whoever you're dealing with at the time, right? If you're living with that person, the probability of you getting married to that person is only 20 to 30%. So that means that is a crazy number. I just really have to break that down. That means that 80 to 70% of the time, y'all ain't getting married. Y'all ain't getting married. So if you're having a baby with this guy because you think that it's going to keep him around, it's not going to happen, right? Now, let's take it a step further, right? So let's say the first one, you let that first one, it was a mistake. Everybody got to learn from their mistakes. That relationship didn't work out. It was 80 to 70% chance it was going to fail. It failed. You move on to the next one. These numbers, if you're your second child's father and you try to have a baby with him to keep him around, only 10 to 15%. 10 to 15% will actually marry you. So what does that mean? 90 to 85% of the time, it's not going to work out. You're not going to get married. So stop doing it. All it is doing is starting a new generational curse, right? So I know you're like, well, what? Stuff happens. I get it. But let me give you some numbers, right? Let me give you some numbers if you wait until you're married to have the kid, right? So if you wait till you have the kid After you get married, these numbers are just astounding. Only 5% of the people that have kids after getting married within 1 year divorce. 5%. So 95% of the men that have kids in their marriage, they stay around, right? After a year. After 5 years, 15 to 20%. So as you can see, the numbers are flipped. They're flipped the other way. So if you want this man to stay around, make a requirement to marry him. You know, back in my day, I was single. I was a player. I ain't even gonna hold you up. I was a player. My wife knows. She's seen it firsthand. But the thing is, you'd be surprised how many women in the black community do not require marriage. They don't. They'll sit there and let you be a placeholder for 8, 9, 10 years. And then eventually they'll start saying, hey, we need to make this official. And then the dude will probably give you a shut up ring. But y'all got to start making marriage a requirement. Y'all got to stop giving kids to dudes that don't deserve it. If he not willing to marry you, he not willing to be the father of your kids, plain and simple. I get it, you know, some are getting up in age where they feel like, you know, I'm about 40, I'm not married, my biological clock is ticking, I got to do something, right? But looking at these numbers, if you put the priority on getting married before you had a kid, it'll put yourself in a whole lot better position.